Hi guys, good morning, happy Thursday. As the Finns say, torstai on toivoa täynnä, Thursday is filled with hope. And so this is the sixth, I think, getting the hang of Thursdays of Dream, Decide, Do group. And today I want to continue from the theme we started last week, and that is the role of luck in life. And particularly today, I want to have a look at luck in relation to strategy. And what does it mean for us at work, in various fields of work, but particularly in my case, I want to have a look at this from the perspective of a communication strategy, but it works in every other type of business strategy, I think, personally, anyways. So last week we were saying that everything ultimately is a question of luck, and that we cannot really affect the world around us as much as we would like to. What we can do is that we can affect ourselves, and we can change the way that we address things. And so we need to clarify, what does that mean for ourselves in business environment? The traditional business strategy is very linear, and it's very logical, and it's very strategic. It goes a line: A, B, C, D, E, and so forth. It follows a line, and that's what we usually have tended to do in the past. So we think that we do first step 1, then when that is done we do step 2 and step 3 and so forth. And that's also the way in which we have traditionally made all our political strategies. That's how we have done our strategies for getting a job. So we write one CV, we go to one interview, we see whether that works, and very shortly we've discovered probably that wasn't a very good decision. We should do something else, because that's going to take a heck of a lot of time to get the job. And we also use that in political strategy. We did one thing, and then we thought that it will lead to another thing and to a third thing. But the world is a lot more chaotic. The world is a lot more luck-based and random than we would like to think. The linear thing doesn't work, because you may have done absolutely everything 100% the way that you should. And what I mean 100% the way you should is that you've prepared your cases, you've prepared and done your homework. You know exactly what you are going to do. So now we are taking away the fact that the possibility that you don't even know exactly how to go about it. But it is something that you actually know how to do. And even under those circumstances, it's not up to you. Think of the situation where you go to a meeting and you are going to go and meet a person who you need to convince about something as part of your strategic process towards your goal. And that person, the night before the meeting, and you have the meeting in the morning, the night before the meeting has had a fight with his or her partner. The child they have is sick and has an ear infection and has cried the whole night. There has been a lot of traffic on the road, and the person is late, upset, nervous that this meeting that you are now going to have is going to put him back in his schedule, and he will not be able to do the things that he considers or she considers more important in the course of the day. How perceptive do you think that that person is going to be, irrespective of how good you are? You are running an uphill battle in that meeting from the get-go, from the moment that you step your foot into that office, or from the moment you sit down opposite to that person in a cafe where you are going to have that meeting. This is totally plausible. This is totally normal. This is exactly what has happened to me over and over again. And I know that this has happened to you as well. So how do we address this? My suggestion is that we take the luck away from the equation altogether. And how do we do that? Well, I think we do it in the following way. You have a target. Let's say the target is, let me just get something from the table. So, okay, this is a microwave, right? So this is the target. This is where we want to achieve, or this is where we want to go. And so in order to do that, traditionally we would go step by step to that goal. What if, because of the luck, you've done everything absolutely right, but then the last step is the one that doesn't work? So why don't we do the following? We'll take this target. We know all the activities that we need to do, and we surround this target with all of those actions. So we go around it. We throw everything at it. In a neat way though, I mean, not aggressively, but we basically, what we do is that we put everything in at one go. So if we have, for example, let me take now the communications issue or the political strategy that I've been thinking particularly from this angle over the last couple of years. If we are supposed to target some decision makers, some stakeholders, some voluntary groups, some local communities, and we've been thinking of doing this gradually over time. No, we do this all at one. We put everything that we have, from arguments to individuals, to groups, to topics, all the tactics that you have in your arsenal, you put out right away. It sounds counterintuitive, and it sounds like you're going to make a huge mess out of it. And yes, I admit, it's not particularly elegant, but it is extremely effective, and I will tell you why it is effective. And I've seen this because I've done this now a couple of times myself. First of all, it takes the guesswork out, because you don't need to think which of the strategies work and which doesn't. You will figure that out almost immediately. It's like you throw everything on the wall and you'll see what sticks. What sticks works, and what doesn't stick doesn't work. So you let that stuff go. You wipe it off from the floor and you concentrate on the things that work. And you get this information and this feedback right at the beginning of the strategy process towards your goal. So you remove immediately that bit of not knowing what works and what doesn't. So that's good. The second thing is that you actually limit the negative impact that you may have, because you get the feedback so quickly that you can adjust. This thing doesn't stay long time in the circulation if it doesn't work. You realize it doesn't work, you remove it from the equation, you take it away. If you see negative feedback, you immediately can address it, no matter which part of the traditional steps it would be. So let's say that you've done absolutely everything right in the linear model, and then at the end of the process, something goes terribly wrong. You spend all that time building up to a case that then breaks into pieces at the last minute. Why would you do that? Remove that risk from the day one by putting it all out and getting that feedback. Number three, because of the same reason that you get the feedback so quickly, you can be more flexible. You can adjust, or you can even, on basis of the feedback, you can add parts immediately in the early process to this campaign, to this process that you have. And that's absolutely fantastic, because you don't have this kind of similar flexibility in the traditional linear model, because it follows the linear pattern. So this is an added benefit. And finally, and I think this is the most important possibly out of all of this, is that you can create momentum from various sides of partnerships, individuals, media, or if you take it to the level of your everyday normal working life, from your business partners to your acquaintances, to your buyers, your customers, your clients, whoever they are, you can create this much faster, this kind of overarching support and momentum than you could if you went one by one over time. And once you have that momentum going, your own role can diminish. And that's also an added benefit, because then you are not anymore doing your own campaign. The others are doing it for you. The others are selling your product. The others are buying your product or your service or your ideas or your campaign. It's all theirs. And you are just basically riding that wave which you have created, that momentum, much faster than you thought is possible. So, in practice, what I would want you to do is to rethink your strategies. Identify the tactics that you have in your strategic process towards the goals that you want to get. See what they are, and then look very critically in that map of tactics and put them in practice all at once, immediately, as quickly as you can, and see what works. Don't be too smart about it, because the world is not particularly smart. The world is very random. So take that bit away from the equation. Take that randomness out. Put it all in right away. Don't wait. Instead of waiting for that linear thing to go one by one and you arriving to the D-1, get to the D-1 immediately from D1, the day one. Okay, that is the way that I look at strategy these days. It's not particularly popular when I say it. Many people still don't believe it. I am convinced that this is the way to do it. We are not leaving a mess behind us when we put everything out. We are actually cleaning the mess, because we quickly can remove the bits that don't work in our strategy. And that's the lesson of this Thursday. Getting the hang of Thursdays in the Dream, Decide, Do group. Thank you so much for watching. I will be there after some travels next Thursday at 10 o'clock again. In the meantime, I want you to invite all your friends, all your business partners, all the expats you know, everybody that you have that could be interested in these kind of little valuable bits of knowledge and practical tips into this group, so that we can grow this and get the conversation going. And at the same time, yes, we will also talk about how to live like local anywhere around the world, because that's the fundamental reason why we are here, to be honest. So I look forward to seeing you next Thursday again. Enjoy your Thursday, have a very good Friday, and absolutely fantastic weekend and beginning of the week when it comes. And also a good start for October, because tomorrow we will be in the 10th month of 2021. Thank you so much. See you next week.